Hey guys, what's going on? It's Bebop here, and this is a video about running Laz M3 as a tank, but I'm also going to be explaining where groups really go wrong as far as DPS and healing, and so I'll also point out some spots where tanks need to be careful too. But in this, you'll see a lot of areas where DPS should have been more cognizant of what their role is and how to run. If you're going to run M3s, you should know these things at this level. You know, if not, then maybe I need to make an M2 guide and explain where DPS need to actually be. Now here, I really like flanking with the flanking with the flail, tanking with the flail. Bebop, gee, that's great. Tanking with the flail and the ice mutations, especially because everybody gets stuck in the little ice crystals, and you can unroot everybody with the vortex. And also, man, it's just a different way of tanking compared to the sword and shield. You can get a lot more taunts. You're not going to do near the damage, but then again, your mobility and taunts are through the roof. So your group's going to lose that extra, 30%, leadership bonus, spread throughout the three DPS, 10% for each. That's where the 30 comes from, guys. And math. And yeah, anyways, as a tank, you need to know that once the third group spawns, you need to start looking at rotating to this next door, because the other guys are going to come out. Now, once the healer closes the other door, those guys will disappear. You're not worried about mobs in this room. You're worried about getting through it. So get your butt moving to the next door. Don't sit there and wait and have to rely on a healer or someone to communicate, because in these pug lobbies, most likely that ain't happening. Either people speak different languages or people are not on their mics, and you need to kind of know what to do as a tank anyways. You're the leader of the group. Everybody's gonna, follow you, so lead. Now, I know these doors are going to be closing. I'm not worried about the mobs. Let's get to the next area and keep it moving. So we were going at a good pace for a pug run. I mean, it's 2 minutes, 20 seconds or so before we get out of here. This next room, I love to skip. You don't need it. The mobs in here, just skip it. Now, sometimes if that crawler's right there, you're going to pull those two mobs. It is what it is. Not a big deal. You can take care of them right here. Now, DPS need to go over there to the right where the archer is, and that is not the tank's responsibility. That is solely DPS need to go over there. I don't care if all three of them do it or if one with the spear does it. That is your responsibility, DPS. Get your butt over there and kill the archer so the healer doesn't get killed, and then bring your butt back over here, and then you can join me in this little battle here. If you leave that archer to shoot the healer, well, then that's on you, DPS.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
You gotta learn your roles and where to be. Now, after that archer's dead, I usually like to pull this group, which seems like a lot more mobs than, usual. I'm not sure if someone pulled them from the other room. Oh, the dagger guy came from the door, but I like to pull these guys to the door and get ready to pull them into the room behind me. But something fell off right here, and I knew moving over here was probably a bad choice. Milk was a bad choice. But yeah, so you'll see it gets very hairy here. I think the healer went down. Yes, the healer went down, and he's not responding. If you're the healer or tank right here and you get knocked in this room, you need to respawn very fast, because the shrine's right there. There's no point of sitting there on your butt waiting to get revived. I mean, those two vital roles are so important. Just respawn. It's early. It's not a big deal. You'll be just fine. It's just a pug run. We're not doing a speed run or a point run. Just go ahead and respawn. You're allowed 4 or 5, whatever, shrines throughout it. You'll be just fine. I don't know what was taking so long. Well, one, the DPS was terribly low in this, and then also just, I don't know why the door isn't open. This is the longest I've ever had to sit here and wait at this door. DPS should have been already at the ball opening this door. This should never take this long. This is what's so frustrating about pug lobbies in New World and M3s. This should never happen at this level. I don't know what was going on with these guys, and I could try to help.
Back to me, don't hit them.
But you're gonna sound like an asshole going over the mic trying to explain it to everybody, because everybody gets offended so damn easy. I got a little out of position right there, trying to, I think, clear out. Not really sure. DPS, be cognizant of where the tank is and just try to rotate, because sometimes the mobs can push the tank in a bad spot or flip the whole positioning of the battle. So, you know, if you've never tanked before, you wouldn't understand, and don't be complaining about it unless you want to pick up a sword and shield or a flail and tank yourself. And one thing I still notice, even with the server merges, there is really no tanks. And I said a long time ago that they should have made it worthwhile to be a tank and a healer, because those two vital roles are just so hard to fill, especially the tank. So, because as a healer, you can still do good DPS, you know, with the Void Blade and all that, depending on what your build is. And healing is kind of fun. Tanking can be pretty boring, and there's a lot of responsibility. You got to constantly be looking around, you know, basically doing 360s, trying to keep aggro on everything, trying to make sure the healer's good to go, because the DPS is forgetting about their roles. And it's just a lot to bear, you know. I sat there in the random mutation lobbies earlier for 7 minutes, or no, 10 minutes the first time, and then 7.5, 8 minutes the second time. Could not get into an M1 or 2 random lobby as a DPS. Signed up as a tank. 20 seconds later, boom, in a dungeon. So that just shows you nobody wants to tank, which is sad, because tanking can be fun. It depends on how you do it. Now, proc the silence a little early right there, so I don't have to, you know, sit here and not be able to, you know, aggro or do any abilities. That should have been pulled a little bit farther out, but that's all right. I know what I'm doing.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit.
And here we go. Gotta be careful as DPS to watch out for the big void hit. And in silence, it really sucks. But as a tank, you need to find the edge, and you can still get into your abilities. Don't just stay in the silence and, you know, complain that you can't use your abilities. Find a way to get them done. This is how I test out the group, especially the healer. I stand right here. If he shoots the archer that's sitting down by the wash hands, then okay, cool. He knows what he's doing. Now, this guy pulled the archer on the far left, which you shouldn't, but in a pug run, I know why he did it, because he already knows that people aren't going to pick it up, especially the DPS. And this healer was pretty good to go, so he was aware of that. So he went ahead and pulled both. And, you know, that's just fine. But this is the better, faster way to do it. Just as a tank, be aware of all the enemies around and try to keep aggro on everything. Now, when the health of these guys start getting low, you need to go wash your hands. And when you go wash your hands, you do not need to wait for the whole cycle to complete. Just press E and then dodge. Right here, I already know the guy's health is low. DPS should be able to finish up just fine. I get speared in the ass, but you know, we're out here. Now, when you tank Laz, you should always have 2 sets. I didn't set 2 sets specifically for this dungeon. But I went ahead and switched to a light tank set for the M1s and 2 I've been running. I didn't realize I wasn't even, you know, fully gemmed in this. I think the set I run, I don't even have a gem in the pants, and it's a lot of opals and void protection. So, you know, being light in this fight at 220 con and not even gemmed up, I mean, it's pretty stupid. But you should set up a certain set that's light to fight Sila and the last boss and pugs, because that way you can do more DPS. Because pugs, this Sila fight takes for freaking ever if you don't help out. I'm in light, so whenever the ball goes up, just put it down. Now, I was telling them I'm in light, so whenever the ball comes up, just go ahead and put that orb down. I'm not sitting here trying to go 25 stacks in light with 220 on, especially not being gemmed. Now, I don't know if they understood me, you know, or if they could hear me, but apparently they did not because they were letting the stacks build up and up and no one's going to get the orb. And I just knew, okay, I'm about to get just knocked here, but you know, F it. If they don't want to listen, I could care less. I've ran plenty of these M3s. If they don't want to listen,
That's what I was saying.
whatever.
Fucking ball down.
We about to get mad out here, man. Yeah, I get really frustrated sometimes with these. I mean, this people just don't listen or they have an ego issue. You know, people say, we can't do 25 stacks. Yeah, I can sit there and do 25 stacks if I'm properly gemmed and all that jazz, and I can go heavy or whatnot. I can do 25 stacks, no problem. It's super easy. It's nothing to, it's not a big pissing contest here. But it's just about doing DPS the quickest way you can and not getting your tank killed, especially when it's in light. Because I'm doing a lot more DPS than a heavy 300 con tank would, and that's helping getting this fight done quicker. So help me out, put the ball down, we can all DPS freely and just fine. I can get the clear out or the center and clear out and the armor breaker down a lot easier. And I notice right here, it's like, okay, they're gonna let the stacks build up. They're not gonna get the ball, and I'm gonna die out, and I'm not doing that here at Sila. So I'm gonna go ahead and retreat and get the ball my damn self. I don't know what the hell the healer was laughing at. He was probably laughing because either he got speared and flew real far, but I think he was laughing because I went running for the orb and no DPS was doing it because they weren't fucking paying attention. But if he's laughing at me just for freaking doing it as, you know, you don't want to go 25 stacks, you're scared, well, then he's just a damn idiot. You can't let that shit get to you. That's the thing about pug runs, man. They're extremely frustrating because people just don't know what the hell they're doing. I guess they got lives or something. I mean, if you're no life in it, you know everything. I asked him what he was laughing at, but he didn't say nothing. I was so ready for him to say something. I was about to go in there and start, boy, I was about to get into him, boy. Now, usually there's like 2 ice gauntlets, and this guy wasn't really sure what they were doing. But, you know, it's fine if the tank's here in the middle. Just put 1 ice gauntlet down at the bottom. I'll be here in the middle chilling. Y'all go up top, and then you can come meet me in the middle afterwards. As a tank, always stay off the button until that guy's up there, because if you don't, a lot of times they'll mess that up, and next thing you know, you got a guy in here, and it's going to mess up everything. Now right here it gets a little hairy, because I was trying to, you know, see how fast my stand would regen, just doing light hits with the flail, compared to just switching to the hammer and pausing their attacks and stuff, so my health got low pretty quickly right here. But, you know, you gotta test out some stuff sometimes, but it got a little bit dangerous. So I turtle shelled up. This just holding out, waiting for the other group to get done with their rounds. And then I can go and aggro the guys to the left door and then move eventually to the door I'm looking at right now. And that's where all the mobs are gonna be spawning over and over and over. So once I see that door coming down, I'm off. That's what I love about the flail right there, compared to the sword and shield. Mobility. Now DPS right here, you got to be aware if an archer spawns over there on the other door, just like the DPS is over there, you need to go over there and kill that archer so it doesn't take out the healer. If it's a crawler or a guy just with a melee weapon, don't even worry about him. Just stay over here and kill all this stuff. But if it's archer, you got to go over there. And as a tank right here, it's just keeping your back to the door so all the enemies spawn facing you, or when they get done spawning, they face you because you got aggro. And just keep them stunned with, you know, hammer abilities and your crowded bludgeon. You can pop over and over and over and give your DPS empower and all that good stuff. And then get your butt moving, bruh. If you if you've only DPS, you need to tank some. You need to heal some, so that way you can get a better all-around view of, you know, what problem areas could come. You know, if you've never healed, then you have no clue how annoying it is to have crawlers and those guys just on your ass because DPS don't want to go over there, especially archers, because they will kill you so fast. And if the healer goes down, everybody's probably going down. So it's just, if you've done all three, which I have at the highest, you know, levels of M back in the day, M10s, healing M10s, you know, then you understand how frustrating that can be. And people that only DPS and they just can't see the other aspects, there's nothing more frustrating than hearing that. People complain about where their heals are, or they, you know, they got aggro and they're like wondering why. If you've never tanked, you don't understand. If you've never healed, you don't understand. You got cooldowns. So, you know, as a DPS, you can't just sit there and whine and complain. You need to be cognizant of all the other roles and what you can do to keep yourself alive. Now right here, they did go ahead of me, and sometimes when people do that, I'll just be like, all right, I'm not gonna aggro anything and just watch them get knocked, especially on the platinum right there. But you know, they were just trying to get going a little early, so I can appreciate that. So I aggroed those crawlers. The one guy mining that I left him with that one, it's pretty easy to dodge that guy and finish that job, no big deal. Right here's a good spot to stop for these guys. Try to time out your stun, your shockwave when that other crawler came up behind. That way you can get him off the healer, because the healer's always going to shoot him and bring him to you. So try to help the healer since he's helping you. And let's go. Now as a tank, you don't need to hit this crawler. The healer will always shoot this crawler. Well, you think always. Some healers don't know to, but somebody's gonna hit that crawler and bring them over here. All you gotta do is just try to aggro these guys and then take them to the archer. Once you see the crawler coming and this guy coming in to dunk on you, just go ahead and try to hit your grid with the hammer and get your abilities going. When they get all close, that's when you can hit the vines, usually after a good grab well. When the health starts getting low on this enemy, you need to rotate to the door and get ready for the next guy to spawn. The two mobs will run towards you, so I usually hit the main guy and then have the two mobs come to me, and then that way we can just group them up. So right here, I'm ready. Just gonna hit them once and then stand about right here and let those other two come to me. There we go. Now these next two, you really want to hit one and have them jump towards you. It's really confusing in a pugs because you can go over there and hit that guy and they come over here and hope he jumps to you, but usually someone else has already hit them, so you're gonna lose aggro anyways. That's why I keep looking at him to see when he's gonna jump over here. When I start seeing him throw daggers toward the healer, I don't want none of that trash going on, so I'll make sure I hit him to at least get aggro. He didn't want to jump, so it is what it is. Go to him. This next mob that's about to spawn, I'll hit the guy at the door just like I did before, and then I will rotate to the archers. Usually someone with the grab well will reap and then pull them together. Nicely done right there. Once I see the health getting low on these guys, I'm going to rotate to the door and get ready to the next area. Thing you want to really do as a tank is get to the next fight. Don't have DPS and everybody sitting there waiting on you because you're slow and you're not transitioning to the next fight. The DPS will be able to finish the enemy with all the bleeds and everything and the CCs they got. They'll be able to finish the enemies when they're lower on health. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch to my light set here so I can do more DPS. Now my sword should already be coated from the Sila fight, but you know, in this game you never know. Now, this guy doesn't hurt near as bad as the other mage, so you don't really have to worry about it too much when he does a void slam. As long as he's scared, all the DPS will be fine. This is where I'm going to switch to my hammer because I want to have armor breaker on for this fight. If you are actually running Laz consistently and that's what you're going to be tanking throughout the week, you want your light set to be 5 con for that last fight you just fought and for this boss. There's no reason to be in a big beefy tank build for these two. So you want a light set that's just you're just another DPS. You don't even need carnelians. There's no point on that last guy or this guy really to have carnelians. You can go moonstone or you can go diamond or opal. You're basically just another DPS at that point, and you need to try to contribute as much as you can. Now I would say stick with hammer and sword and shield because you want the leadership bonus with the sword and shield and the hammer. I was trying to get a screenshot right here for a thumbnail and then couldn't get back into my menu because my mouse was on the other monitor for some reason. But you want the hammer and the sword and shield because the rend you're gonna do with armor breaker is like 30 rend, and then the sundering clear out's gonna be 25, so it's 55, and then the whirling blade with the sword and shield is gonna be 15, so that is 70% rend. Now, it's a lot of rend going on, so you're good with that. Know his movements, know when the laser's coming, so you can roll just like that. Shouldn't be sitting there waiting on someone to run to the laser. Everybody should already be transitioning. And you can see how low our DPS is right here. It's just low. I was wondering if they wanted to stop at 4 and just wait, but apparently they wanted to go through, so that's what we did. Always roll out to see. Okay, what's the group doing? Okay, they're just wanting to go. Then all right, cool, let's go then. Usually if you're gonna do one orb, you would have put it right there where he's lasering on the right side because a little shorter distance to roll to. But you know, whatever. Hug run, baby. But yeah, if you run, you know, all different, if you run healer, a tank, and DPS, you get to see from different perspectives. It's so important to do if you want to be well-rounded. I mean, it's just gonna make you a better player at the end of the day, and it can be fun too. You know, you don't gotta look at tanking being super boring. You can light tank if you want. Have fun with that, you know. It'll be exciting, it'll be dangerous, it would do more DPS, but it is fun. So, well, there's my little rant for Laz. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, leave them in the comments. And if you're new to my channel, I have videos like this, so feel free to check it out. I got them on pretty much every dungeon. And I usually stream at night, 7 p.m. Central Time. So we usually do speed runs with the group. And feel free to hit me up anytime. All right, see y'all in the next video. Later.